Hello everyone. Welcome to the midday session called Blissful Warrior here at Riverflow Yoga. It's our midday pause for breathing, for stretching, for focusing, maybe even for a little meditating, right? For a little bit of mindfulness. So welcome to my practice. I have to be honest and say that this is the practice that really keeps me grounded and centered, and I really love sharing it right here on the Facebook page with everybody who would like to really understand the benefits of pausing. You know, we've sort of had a mandatory pause put on us during this time of COVID, right? Things have in some ways slowed down. I know for some people, some of the students, the yoga students that I speak to, things have even sped up a little bit. But in some ways, things are a break, a difference from the way they used to be. So whether you have found that time has slowed for you, that you've suddenly got more time, you know, maybe you have less of a commute, maybe you're working more from home now, even though the work seems more focused and even more vigilant. In some ways, there's a pause from some of the routines that you had before. And so I find that it's really very helpful to take this time in the middle of the day, and here we are at 12:45, taking the time to really breathe, to stretch out a little bit, to move the body. You know, movement is medicine, and we're all looking for medicine these days. We're all looking for ways to maintain not only the physical health, but the emotional health. And then mindfulness. Mindfulness is the ability to still yourself, body and mind. It's a lot easier than it sounds. Let me introduce myself for those of you who don't know me. I'm Rhonda Uretsky. I'm the owner of Riverflow Yoga, which is a physical yoga studio located in Lambertville, New Jersey. And it has also become this virtual place where we come together and share yoga practices with all of those of you who find it more convenient to be doing yoga right here, right now, from your home, from your office. You know, I'm here live right now, but of course, if you scroll the page here on Riverflow, you'll notice that many sessions are available to you here. This practice, Blissful Warrior, we have a hot yoga practice that we share with you. We have a yoga nidra practice that we share with you about yoga sleep, really guiding yourself into a deep sleep. All really wonderful things to be able to cultivate during this time of great challenge and change. The ability to sleep well, the ability to nourish your body with stretching and movement, the ability to explore this place of stillness that can be a great respite for you emotionally and a really healing place for you physically. So let's just arrive here and right now. You know, you don't need any special accessories or special clothing. You don't even need a special place in your house or your office to do this. You just have to make a decision that for the next, let's say, half an hour or so, 45 minutes, sometimes I go on for an hour, but you know, the time that you spend here is really up to you. But let's say for the time that you're here, you're going to arrive, which means you're going to be present right here and right now. So make sure you have some water beside you. We will be drinking water. As a matter of fact, let's start with taking a few sips of water. It's a beautiful, easy, accessible way to feel grounded and to bring yourself into the present moment and to nourish your body, of course. Let's take some sips. Can you sort of instantly feel the effect that that has on you? Okay, so if you're here with me live, then we're here in the middle of the day, which I like to remind people is what I feel is one of the best times in the day to pause. I like early in the morning when you first wake up, kind of moving from the sleeping state to the activity state, and then here in the middle of the day to just to make sure that the day doesn't get ahead of you. You know, sometimes the day can be like a bunch of waves that just keep coming over you and maybe even sweeping you off your feet. But you do have an opportunity to get out ahead of it. You know, maybe to surf the waves a little bit, or maybe to just stand still in those waves. And that's what this session is all about. And I have to confess, my morning has felt a little bit like that. I've really felt sort of overcome, not so much with things to do, but with internal thoughts. You know how that can be? Sometimes your mind gets away from you. Your mind creates these waves. these seemingly crashes of, well, as my friend Mary says, it sometimes feels like this inside your head or even inside your body, right? Things just keep coming at you. And maybe there aren't any physical things coming at you. Maybe there aren't any conditions around you, but the thoughts in your mind can create stories that feel as if those conditions are right here and right now, and really kind of just wreaking havoc with the inside of your head. But just like this glitter wand, if I stop moving this glitter wand, if I just allow it to pause, I allow it to settle, I don't apply any more of those worrisome thoughts or activities, or I don't interact with any of those conditions, even for a little while, then all of this just starts to settle. And that's exactly what happens in your nervous system, and that's why we do this practice. So I feel inspired to a few more sips of water. You can never have too much. If you'd like to take a few sips with me right now, please go ahead. Okay, keep it beside you now. You're going to be reaching for it quite a bit, hopefully. And now let's just settle our bodies. So settle into a comforting position. For me, sitting on the ground, cross-legged on a cushion, just feels comforting. Probably because I've been doing it for 50 years. But it just feels wonderful. Immediately, when I sit on a cushion, I sit to the far front edge of the cushion, and it allows the knees and the hips to sort of tilt forward a little bit. And there's just an immediate sense of relaxation in parts of the body that are usually held in stressful positions. So if you grab a cushion and you want to try that, go ahead. Finding a comfortable place for your hands, maybe palms up in your lap, maybe palms down on your knees, or palms up on your knees. Just find a place where your hands feel relaxed, your arms feel sort of limp. If you prefer to sit in a chair, choose a comfortable one. The purpose of this practice is not pushing or forcing. There's a whole lot of that goes on in the rest of your life, and maybe even in the rest of your day. Maybe already in the morning of the day that you've had. Maybe there's been a whole bunch of pushing and forcing, either from outside people, or sometimes it's from inside your own head. These ideas of what you should be doing right now, and guilt about what you're not doing right now, and why you're not better at the things that you're doing. All that kind of internal pushing. But there's none of that in this practice. And it's called Blissful Warrior because I do intend for you to be a warrior about your ability to feel blissful. So, if you're sitting in a chair, make that your choice. Make that your arrival position and choose a comfortable chair. If the chair has a back to it, lean back a little bit. And even if you're sitting on the ground, with your knees and your hips tilted a little bit forward, still sit backwards a little, just to counteract this thing that we mostly do. We thrust forward with the chest, sometimes even with the chin, and it creates great strain in the middle back and in the cervical spine. So these things that feel good when you align them in your body actually are good for you physiologically and for this nervous system that we are attempting to settle in this practice. If you have an opportunity here where you are right now to lie down, go ahead, lie on your back. Arms at your sides, but not too close to your body. Legs are out in front of you with your heels lightly touching, your toes flopped out to the sides. Just feel like your knees are flopping to the sides, and your hips feel as if they're like a flower blossoming. You can imagine your hips kind of opening up and outward. All of this is really nice and simple, easy to imagine, especially when you're lying on the ground. And as you imagine things happening in your body, so the systems of your body begin to respond. Think about the implications that might have if you think of your body as overweight or injured or pained or ill, diseased or tight, old, all of these images that we overlay onto the physiology of our bodies actually do have some way of expressing themselves. So in this moment right now, try to imagine your body as relaxed, a really comfortable place for you to settle into right now. Sometimes it's easiest to do that when you're lying on your back, just like floating in the water. It's really easy to lie on your back and just let yourself be held. But you can accomplish this feeling sitting in a chair or sitting cross-legged on the ground or in any other position that simply feels like a comforting arrival place for you. And where have you arrived? In the present moment. You've arrived right here, right now. So, letting thoughts of the morning sort of melt away. They're gone. That morning stuff is not coming back anymore. Letting thoughts of what's going to come for the rest of today or weeks from today, let those thoughts just hang in the distance. They haven't arrived yet. Where you are right now is right here, in the present moment, in your body, in this space, in this beautiful Blissful Warrior practice with me. Just feel the comfort of being where you are. And it sounds kind of simple, but oftentimes we aren't where we are. In our heads, we're someplace else. In our minds, in our thoughts, in our worries, we're not in the present moment. We are someplace else. And oftentimes that someplace else is not a comforting place to be. It's like those waves that are sweeping you along without your having a say in it. But here's your say. You are right here, right now. Feeling comforted, feeling arrived, maybe even feeling a little bit lighter in your body. And let's move from here into breathing. Some nice, deep, deliberate breathing. Now, of course, nobody has to teach you how to breathe. You've been doing it from the day you were born. But to be able to focus deliberately on hearing and sending the breath into different parts of your body, which again, you can do with your mind and you can do with your intentions, and really enjoying breathing. Seems simple, right? Seems too easy that you can actually get some bliss from breathing. But let's see if that's true. Settling in. Now we will be breathing in and out through the nose, but applying some sound from the back of the throat. So when you breathe in and out, and I'll be guiding you through this, rather than hearing the breath as kind of a sniffing sound in your nose, imagine it coming in through the back of your throat and making a very loud ocean sound, right? So these are the waves inside of you that you are in control of, right? Not those waves that knock you around or that current that drags you under. These are the waves that you get to manage the current. So let's begin. Just resettling for a moment. Focus your eyes ahead of you. See if you can focus on something ahead of you and looking at that thing, that something, a little from the tops of your eyes more than the centers, just to encourage none of this, right? This is something that, again, it's sort of an old habit. We force and push our way into life, even with our own bodies. But right now, you're content to settle back and to be the allower of life, the recipient of these good feelings. So sitting back a little, and looking at that object from the tops of your eyes so your chin's a little dropped, imagine yourself placing your head onto the top of your spine. Now again, that sounds kind of funny. Where else would it be? But honestly, sometimes your head is far from the top of your spine, right? That outward thrust brings your head, if you imagine your spine like a slinky and your head like a bowling ball, if you could center that bowling ball right at the top of the slinky, really evenly, without having it at the far edge, then you're going to have a whole different sensation. And you might just be one of that small percentage of people that ages without any neck problems or spine problems or even shoulder or back problems. It's all alignment, and it's all within your control. So settling the head, focusing the eyes. Let's begin breathing. Inhale. A deep inhale breath, hearing that loud ha sound at the base of your throat and pulling your collarbones wide as your arms stay limp. Let your rib cage fill from side to side like an accordion, feeling it expand outward, holding yourself here. Now exhale. Again, that loud ha sound coming out your nose, but hearing it at the base of your throat, keeping your collarbones wide, bringing your rib cage together like the sides of that accordion coming in, dropping your tailbone down, and then slightly tucking the tailbone up. Just a little undulation towards the navel, just restacking every coil of that slinky, staying empty, and inhale. Collarbones wide, chin still dropped a little bit, and the ribs coming out like an accordion. Notice if the old habit is to thrust your ribs forward or upward a little bit. So you're just going to settle that, holding here in this full feeling, and exhale. Collarbones wide, chin is still dropped, head is still back. The accordion rib cage coming together till your tailbone points straight down, and then you can tuck it slightly towards your navel for that little uplifted feeling at the end. And inhale. And again, collarbones wide, chin a little dropped, eyes are focused very softly out of the tops of your eyes. Notice that even emotionally you feel a little differently when your eyes are looking from the tops a little bit. And exhale. Keep pulling your collarbones wide so your chest and your heart center stay open. Let your ribs come together, feeling the hands pressing on the accordion, pushing the ribs towards the midline, dropping your tailbone and tucking it slightly up. Just stay here empty for a moment. Can you feel that stillness? Inhale. Just checking on every little piece of alignment, chin down, eyes focused, collarbones wide, ribs expanding outward to the sides. Arms relax. Exhale. The loud roaring sound of that wave passes through the back of your throat as your ribs come together and your tailbone drops down, and then here you are empty. Tuck the tailbone slightly up. Inhale. Exhale. Staying empty can really extend this feeling of pause, this feeling of settling and calming. And inhale. Exhale. Notice that you can listen to this practice even as you're going about your business, even as you're engaged in some activity. And you can participate in the breathing and get this profound benefit of creating stillness and nourishing every cell in your body with this beautiful breath, so available to you. Let's take 3 more. Inhale. Hear the wave rising in the back of your throat, keeping the collarbones wide so the shoulders stay way down from your ears, and you feel totally aligned. Exhale. You can imagine the wave sort of rushing to the shoreline with that sound at the back of your throat, tailbone down and slightly up. Inhale. wave rising. You're getting ready to surf the wave. Let it come all the way to the heights. Collarbones wide, ribs expanded, chin dropped a little. Exhale. And with the crashing of that wave, you're riding it to the shoreline. Ribs come together, tailbone drops, and tucks slightly up. And one more. Inhale. Holding here like you've seen a wave hold at the top at its height so many times. Exhale. Feel the rush of that wave, the smoothness of it as you're gliding along. Collarbones wide, rib cage coming in, tailbone dropping down, and then tailbone slightly up towards the navel. Now just take a moment to notice how you feel. Going to that 1 to 10 scale, 1 being very calm, and 10 being very agitated. Where have you landed after riding these beautiful waves of breath? Where have you landed on this scale? What's your number? So I'm going to take 3. 3 feels like the landing place for me. And if I can remember back to just 15 minutes ago, when I first came to this practice with you, I would say I was about a 7, maybe even an 8, in that high state of agitation, almost teary, feeling overwhelmed by feelings. And although I can remember the way I felt, the feeling that I have in my body right now is completely different. So just take a moment to notice where you have landed and know that there are no wrong landings. If your number is still 7, 8, 9, 10, whatever it is, that's just appropriate for you in this moment. But really land where you've landed. Which again, it sounds like one of those obvious statements, but one of the things that we tend to do is to not own our feelings, to not allow ourselves to simply say, I'm feeling sad or overwhelmed or frustrated or lonely or whatever that feeling might be that's really unpleasant. But I promise you, and I can tell you from experience, that if you will allow yourself to land, then just like the wave of an ocean, that feeling will subside on its own. If you resist the feeling, if you try to push it away, if you try to deny that you're feeling whatever you're feeling, then that wave will continue. That resistance will sort of hold it in place. So just allow yourself to land wherever you are right now. And let's just take one more deep breath, just acknowledging, I am where I am. This is where I am right in this moment. Inhale. And exhale. You know, even the best surfers, and I grew up in Rockaway Beach, New York, and there was constant surfing. So even the best surfers would not ignore the conditions of the ocean before they go out to ride the waves. And in that very same way, I'm suggesting that you acknowledge the conditions that you're feeling within your own body. Try not to focus too much on conditions outside of yourself, but the conditions that you're feeling in terms of the emotional state where you've landed, so that you can begin this journey from a really certain place of, I am where I am. There's so much wisdom in knowing and accepting and acknowledging where you are in this moment, and then moving into wherever you'd prefer to be. So, with that talk of moving, we're going to move into some asana, some yoga asana. If this is your first time doing yoga, asana just means poses. And the yoga that we are doing here in this practice is very much aligned with the Blissful Warrior idea. We're not going to push into pain ever. In fact, we're not going to push at all. We're going to allow these movements to align with the nervous system of your body so that you can not only get maximum physical benefits from these poses, but also maximum emotional healing, emotional calming from moving the body. So we're going to do some floor poses today. If you're already sitting on the floor, if you were sitting on a cushion, just move it aside. If you are sitting in a chair and you'd like to join us in these poses, come on down to the floor. If you were lying on the ground in your arrival pose, then you're already there, my friend. So we're all going to join you, lying on the ground, lying on your back. Now, when you lie down on your back, try not to throw yourself down to the ground or slam yourself down. Legs are out, heels are flexed. Ease into your elbow tips. Allow your head to hang. Let it touch the mat lightly. Roll to the back of your head, lying down. Now relax your feet. Round your arms, which means sort of bring them away from your body, palms facing up. Still, your gaze is downward. So you're looking down the midline of your body rather than at the ceiling, and this will give you that little bit of the cervical spine stretch. Collarbones are wide. Sort of nestle into the ground with your shoulder blades by pulling your collarbones wide, allowing those heels to lightly touch and the toes to flop apart will give you this beautiful state, this feeling of floating on those waves. Inhale. Widen at the collarbones, widen at the ribs, that big accordion rib cage out to the sides, hearing the wave in the base of your throat. And exhale. Ribs come together, dropping your lower back to the ground. All right, we're going to do some beautiful hip openers and spine twisters, which sounds a little violent, but really it's not. Your spine really is an amazing coiled energy field which can move in so many different directions, and we're just going to explore that today. Again, no pushing or forcing because there's no place to get to in these poses. You're simply allowing yourself to land. So as you inhale, bring the legs together. Bend your right leg and place the sole of your right foot on the ground. Maybe inch your heel in nice and close. Feeling that stretch in your spine, make sure your ribs are down and your lower back is dropped on this exhale. Inhale, bring your arms close to your body, pulling with your fingertips and dragging your shoulders. Bend your right knee to your chest, bend your elbow tips, and make a net of fingers, nice tight clasp all the way to the webbing on all 10 fingers, 2 inches below the right knee. Now relax your right knee forward into the net and relax your outstretched left leg, tucking your chin. Inhale, collarbones wide, elbows hugging your waist. Exhale, tightening the net of fingers, guide the right knee to the right armpit. Bypass the rib cage, go around towards the armpit. Keep that foot relaxed, keep the outstretched leg relaxed. And you might feel a little bit of a pinching feeling in your right hip. This is called the tourniquet effect. You're effectively cutting the blood supply off just like a tourniquet would. And so when this pose changes, there'll be a fresh rush of oxygenated blood in your right hip. You're also stretching the left hip so you can feel this in your hip, maybe in your inner thigh, maybe even in your lower back. Just allow these sensations. You'll notice they're really pleasant. Inhale, collarbones wide, chin down. Exhale, pressing a little bit with the net and guiding the right knee around the rib cage towards the armpit. So going around the rib cage massages your ascending colon. So this is a great pose for the digestive system. And the longer you hold here, breathing, noticing that your shoulders are down, your shoulder blades are on the mat, your elbow tips are in your waist, adjusting and aligning internally, you just get to feel more at home in this stretch of your body. And then change, lowering the right sole, And then letting the right leg come all the way out to meet the left at the heels. Let your arms relax and breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Now bend the left knee and place the sole of the left foot on the ground. Go ahead and inch that heel in a little bit closer. Tuck your chin and drop your lower back on the exhale. Inhale. Arms come close. Pull with your fingertips, letting the shoulders drag, and tuck your chin. Watch those ribs. See, mine even had a tendency to come up here, so you just kind of put them back in place. And as you exhale, bend the left knee to the chest. Bend both elbow tips. Create that neck 2 inches below the left knee and let your knee drop forward. Inhale, collarbones wide, chin down. Relax your outstretched leg. Relax that bent knee into the net, collarbones wide. Exhale and guiding the left knee towards the left armpit. So bypass the rib cage. Keep the elbows in the waist, the chin down, eyes open, and guiding that left knee towards the left armpit around the rib cage, getting a beautiful massage for your descending colon. Inhale. And exhale. As you exhale, just tighten that net a little bit. Just let it be all about fingers, getting nice and tight and guiding the knee towards the armpit. If you feel that pinch in the left hip, there's that tourniquet effect. And then you might feel that stretch in the right groin area. So beautiful, beautiful opportunity for both hips to get some increased blood flow and flexing and overall alignment. And here, massaging that descending colon. And then change. As you inhale, lower the sole of the left foot, slide the left leg out, arms at your sides, palms facing up. Take a moment here. Can you feel the lightness in your arms, in your legs? This is not only your blood and fluid coming more evenly into your extremities, it's your nervous system calming. And now inhale, bring the legs together, and for a moment, point your toes. Rotate your knees inward, bring your arms close to your body, palms facing your hips, and pull from the fingertips, drag from the shoulders, tucking your chin. And as you exhale, keep pulling, but drop your lower back. And now inhale again, bend both knees. Inch the heels close to your butt and squeeze your legs together. Tucking your chin. Legs are tightly squeezed. Draw the knees to your chest. Bend your elbow tips and wrap your arms and grab what's available. Could be fingertips or wrists. Could be forearms or elbow tips. Could even be upper arms. No contest here. Just being where you land. And as you inhale, squeeze your legs together with your arms. Keep your shoulders away from your ears and tuck your chin. And as you exhale, drawing the knees very close to the chest using the arms. Tucking your chin, noticing that you can tuck your chin more and more as the knees come closer to the chest. Maybe keeping your stomach sucked in a little bit. Start to push your knees outward into the crooks of your elbows, feeling how you're stretching your back. Inhale. Using the arms, squeeze the legs together tight. Tuck your chin, shoulders down. And then as you exhale, pressing outward from your knees, maybe into the crooks of your elbows, flattening your back. And change. As you inhale, relax your arms, let them drop far from your body. Relax your feet and just allow your knees to stay bent. Tuck your chin. Checking that your collarbones are wide, your shoulder blades are nestled. Take a breath. Inhale. And exhale. Now we'll we'll do a little supine spine twisting. So as you inhale, turn your palms to the ground and bring your arms out to the sides in a T position and inch your fingertips really far, just sort of walking your fingertips across your floor. And then settle your shoulder blades again. Exhale, just staying here for a moment. Squeeze your legs tightly together, tucking your chin. Inhale, once again, inch the fingertips a little bit more, tuck the chin, nestle the shoulder blades to the mat. And as you exhale, squeeze the legs tightly, and then dropping both knees over to the right, under the right armpit. So you bring the knees over and up. Now wherever they stop, they stop. That's where you've landed. That's where the wave has hit the shore for you. Just relax here. Let your knees feel like gravity is pulling on them. Relax your feet. Keep both shoulder blades on the mat by pulling the collarbones wide. And as you exhale your breath, slide your head a little to the right, tuck your chin down, and turn your head to the left, feeling like you'd like your left ear to touch the ground. Not forcing, not pushing, not insisting, just allowing it to happen. Can you trace this beautiful serpentine stretch of your spine, starting from your neck, going down around your shoulders, your middle back, your lower back? Beautiful S-shaped stretch, very natural for your spine, and yet something we don't really do much in everyday life. Inhale, bring your knees back to center, bring your head back to center. Here at center, squeeze your legs tight, draw your knees close, tuck your chin down, and as you exhale, keep the legs squeezed tightly, rolling slowly over to the left. Knees aiming under the left armpit, both shoulder blades staying down on the mat. Just going slowly, you're unwinding that slinky. And as you unwind slowly, you get every little part to unwind. And then just relax here. Inhale. Now as you exhale, slide your head a little to the left. Tuck your chin more and let your head drop to the right, feeling as if your right ear is going to contact the ground. Again, not insisting. There really isn't any prize for making your ear touch. It's just this beautiful feeling of stretch. And once again, trace it. Trace this S-shaped curve that you're making from your neck, around your shoulders and middle back, down your lower back, maybe even over your hips. It's a very luxurious and elegant shape, and it just feels luxurious in your body. That's the reward. Inhale, squeeze your legs together, bring your knees back to center, bring your head back to center. And as you exhale, bring your arms in close. Pull with your fingertips, dragging on your shoulders. Bend your elbows, and once again, let's wrap around the knees. Wrists, forearms, elbow tips are upper arms. Tuck your chin. Inhale again, collarbones wide. Chin down, legs squeezed together. And as you exhale, press the knees to the chest. And if you have no neck issues, tuck your chin and lift your forehead to your knees, curling in. Holding here, inhale. Exhale, tuck your chin more. And change. Inhale, very slowly lower your head, back of your head touches. As you exhale, release your arms, release your legs, and slide out into Shavasana Pose. Legs out, heels touch, collarbones wide, chin down, eyes open, looking down the middle of your body. And inhale, ribs out like an accordion. And exhale, ribs together. relax your hands and drop your lower back. Okay, we're going to do a yoga sit-up. If you have no back problems, you can try this with me. Inhale, flex your heels and raise your arms over your head. Tuck your chin and pull from your arms, your fingers under your rib cage, keeping your lower back dropped a little, flexing your heels, rotating the pinky toes towards your face. And as you exhale, sit up. Reach for the ceiling, nice long spine. Grab your big toes, looking forward. Double jerk and double exhale. Shh, shh, and hang. Chin to throat, forehead to knees, elbow tips bending beside your calves. Just hang and open that slinky. Tucking your chin, feeling the weight of your head pulling that slinky open more and more. And change. Sitting up straight, and let's turn around for a couple of front-facing poses. We're going to try Supta Vidrasana, fixed firm pose. This is like a backward bend, but sitting down. So, you're going to go into this pose very deliberately, and there are many, many places to sort of land in this pose. No need to push yourself anything beyond where you have landed in a comfortable way today. So, sitting hips to heels, even that might not be a comfortable landing place for you. So you can press into your fingertips and just let the pressure come off a little bit, hips off the heels. But you can also now, if you can, wiggle with your hips and get your heels apart and settle your hips on the ground between your heels. Now, if your hips haven't settled on the ground, that's okay. Then you've landed in wiggling. In your fingertips, notice what happens. You get your biceps engaged. You're holding yourself up by the biceps, and it really feels very light and easy, and you just keep making your hips do a figure eight. This is a great way to relieve the hips and the knees and keep all of the pressure off those joints and into your biceps, which are so good at supporting your body. Once your hips have landed right there on the floor between your heels, the next step is right palm on right sole, left palm on left sole. Hang your head and lift your chest and squeeze your shoulder blades and elbow tips together as you ease back into one elbow tip at a time. Keep hanging the head, lifting the chest. Feel your body held in your elbow tips. Keep letting your head hang until the top of your head grazes the mat ever so lightly, and then slide onto the back of your head and lie down. Then you can bring your arms over your head, grabbing opposite elbow tips. Now right here is full extension of the pose. But remember, at any point along the way in this pose, you may have landed in the place where you're going to be for today. And there is absolutely no judgment or competition. There's nothing wrong with where you've landed. It's just like telling a wave that comes up to the shoreline that it should have landed in a different place. There's no point to it. Just let it land. Now, if you're all the way down here where I am, inhale. Let your ribs come wide open. Maybe spread your elbow tips back a little bit. And as you exhale, let the ribs come together. Let your lower back drop. And maybe you'd like to start moving your knees in towards each other, pulling forward from the knees, feeling a great sense of stretch on the tops of your quads, tops of your thighs. But again, no pain, just this beautiful, intense stretch. Inhale. And exhale. As these yoga poses begin to make you feel more and more open in wherever you are right now, this sense of opening sort of feels like freedom. Freedom of movement, freedom of physical flexibility, calms and stills the nervous system. It's a beautiful overall feeling, physically and emotionally. And now, if you're all the way in the pose, coming up out of the pose, elbow tips and forearms to the ground, lean into your elbow tips and hang your head behind you. Now you have the sense that you are putting that slinky back together one coil at a time, letting your head hang. Your head can come on top when the slinky is completely centered. And now here you are for a moment, sitting maybe hips to heels again if that's comfortable, palms in your lap, and take a breath. Inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to go into extended child's pose. Place your fingertips on the ground beside you and spread your knees 8 to 10 inches apart as your big toes touch behind you, looking at the wall in front of you. As you exhale, you're in your fingertips. Lower yourself down, breastbone and forehead to the mat. Trying to keep your hips down. If they come up, they come up. Now you're all the way down. Relax your arms, bend your elbow tips, allow your shoulders to slump, and breathe here. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Ribcage expands. Exhale. Ribcage contracts. Coming up from this pose, place your fingertips on the ground beside your knees. Pull your elbow tips towards your hips. Hang your head as once again you stack that slinky in your back. And then your head floats up on top. Push the knees together again and sit hips to heels if you can. Palms in your lap and relax. Just sensing this landing place. Inhale. Checking that your chin is down, your collarbones are wide, your rib cage comes open like an accordion. Hearing the rising sound of the wave at the base of your throat, and exhale. Feeling the rushing of that wave to the shore, this wave of breath through your body. Now place your fingertips on the ground and let's bring those legs out. The blood flow come back into the legs, which were under us for the last few poses. So legs are out, flex the heels forward, round the pinky toes towards your face. Place your palms on your shins or just below your knees. Lock your elbows, collarbones wide, dropping the chin enough so that you can look out of the tops of your eyes, leaning slightly backward so you feel both hips on the ground, just feeling for your own stability. Inhale. And exhale. And now to close the practice, once again, find a comfortable place to land your physical body. If you'd like to lie down here at the end of the practice, that's always beautiful. A lying down ending in Shavasana. If you'd rather sit, again, if you want to try this cushion, I have this kind of round, bolstery kind of cushion, futon cushion. Love to. I've had it for so many years. It's actually starting to split now, but it's still a great cushion. And right there under me, sitting to the far front edge of the rounded part of the cushion, my knees and hips feel very relaxed. Or if you're sitting in a chair, again, choose one that's comforting for you. It has a really nice, strong back that you can lean into. Find a place where your arms relax. I like palms in the lap today, but palms on the knees can feel nice, up or down. And if you're lying on the ground, go ahead and allow your arms to go far away from your body. The further they are, you're going to find that place where it's just far enough that your limbs feel almost like they're floating up. There are parts of your physiology, though they're made of bones and skin and all of these heavy elements, that actually can feel very light, just like they do when you're floating in the water. Right? You're still made of all those elements, all those heavy type of materials, and yet it feels like nothing. So that's the sensation that you can have anytime your nervous system is settled. And all these poses that we've done, and the breathing, even the drinking water, all of these things are in service to this blissful warrior feeling that you can call up anytime. So let's end with 3 deep breaths, just as we began. Settling in, keeping your eyes fixed, looking at something from the tops of your eyes a little more so than the centers. Lean back a little and begin. Inhale, the wave rises in the back of your throat. Feel the fullness of that wave as your collarbones come wide and your ribs come wide, holding open, getting to the very height of the wave. Now exhale. Send that wave rushing through you, hearing the sound at the back of your throat. Collarbones stay wide, rib cage comes together, dropping your tailbone straight down and then tucking it slightly towards your navel. Just stay here, just like that wave, sort of hanging onto the shore for a moment. And inhale. Exhale. Just stay empty here. And inhale. And exhale. Three simple, deeply focused breaths. And once again, just taking a moment to notice where you've landed now. Where on that scale of 1 to 10 do you feel like you are? I would say I'm very close to 1. Feeling much, much calmer, more settled, and more like myself. You know, when we're spun out, when the nervous system is highly activated, or when there's pain in the physical body, we react in ways that just don't feel good. Doesn't feel like who your authentic self is. But from this place right now of this calmed nervous system, this body that suddenly feels more like home to you, like a place where you can find comfort, you can move into the rest of your day, have interactions with people or conditions or situations, and react the way you really want to, not the way you feel compelled to by negativity or feelings that just don't feel like yourself. Now look, sometimes anger is the appropriate response. So I'm not going to tell you that any reactions that you have are inappropriate. You're the only one who can feel that for yourself. Especially when you're in the depths of depression. Anger can be a very appropriate response to sort of fire you back up. So again, there are no right or wrong actions or reactions. There are no right or wrong emotions or feelings. It's all relative to where you start, where you allow yourself to be in the present moment, and then this feeling of empowerment, being able to choose the way you'd like to respond to situations, and always feeling like your authentic self. Everyone that you come into contact with benefits, but most especially you benefit yourself. So I'm going to end with a reading here as we go out into the rest of this day that will be filled with thoughts and feelings and interactions and conditions and situations. Let's see if we can have a thought that sort of grounds the nervous system. So this is my book, The Blissful Warrior, and I'm going to open to a random page today and just see what the thought is here. I began to apply this law of attraction to the shaping and maintaining of my own ideal body. I began by eating what felt good. Instantly, I found a new relationship with food. I fell in love with it. I ate my favorite foods, chocolate, without guilt or reproach. I ate from a place of inspiration and self-appreciation. I did not force myself to eat what I didn't like. I filled up with ideas for food that would satisfy me. I got ideas about movement and exercises that would engage me. Looking back, I can see that following this law of attraction was at work for me even when I was restricting my own diet. I believed in the hard work, and my belief, not my effort, always created my success. So, what beliefs would you like to move forward with for the rest of today? You're in the perfect place to form and really choose some soothing thoughts and beliefs from this place of a nice, calmed nervous system. Go on ahead and appreciate the food you eat for the rest of this day, the body that you have for the rest of this day, and the feeling of being yourself for the rest of this day. Thank you for joining me in this practice. I'm Rhonda Uretsky, and this practice is called the Blissful Warrior, and we're bringing it to you here on the Riverflow Yoga Facebook page, live and free, as we find ourselves in a very challenging time in the history of our nation, in our lives, and approaching holidays, which even adds a little bit more to the challenge. A beautiful time to become this blissful warrior. I'll see you again tomorrow. Same time. I'm usually here between 12:30 and 1 o'clock we begin. We stay together for about an hour. That's what it's been today. And again, feel free to use this practice to come in and out as you need it, to use the parts of it that relate to you today, and always to allow yourself to land and appreciate where you are. See you soon, friends.